Let's finish the Flexi Line's twist rig. This is actually going to be very straightforward. Let's go ahead and start with the easiest task first, which is going to be to control the twist axis of Group A and Group E. They need to be connected directly to the connect curves they correspond with. Alright, so with Group A, we can simply use wire parameters to tie its y-axis into our connect curve's y-axis. So with the connect curve selected, we can right-click and choose wire parameters, and we will now find the zero Euler rotate Y track, and we'll want to plug that into Group A's zero Euler Y. Alright, it's a direct connection. If you're concerned with the order here, whatever we start our wiring with gets loaded on our left side. So we want to connect our connect curve into our group. Let's use the bottom arrow and choose connect. And now when we close this out, take a look. When we start to rotate in our y-axis, the group is moving properly. Alright, let's go ahead and do the same thing for Group E. So with the connect curve selected, we'll right-click and choose wire parameters. That's going to be transform, rotation, zero Euler Y, and we'll plug that into our group's zero Euler Y channel. Again, we're using the lower arrow, choose connect, and I want to test this out. Alright, fantastic. So now we'll need to take the result of A and E and tie that into the mid-twist. So we essentially need to find that result and go ahead and average it to get the proper twisting we need from the midsection of the Flexi Line. Let's go ahead and grab Group C, and underneath our motion panel, we'll choose Assign Controller. Let's expand our rotation list and find the twist axis. Here it is. And we'll go ahead and assign a float expression. Alright, so now we can set up a few variables to speed up the time it takes to create the expression. We will be using scalar variables since we're just dealing with one value. So that's going to be start underscore twist as the first variable, choose create. And the next one will be end twist. Great. By the way, if you'd like more information on the expression controller, feel free to take a look at Introduction to Rigging in 3ds Max. Alright, so with the end twist selected first, we can now go ahead and assign the controller that will be assigned to this variable. So we'll expand objects, we'll expand the outside of the global connect curve so we can get to the objects parented to it. Of course, the inside is how we get to our transform tracks as well as any custom parameters we'll need to assign. Alright, so we'll go ahead and expand the global object, and here is the end connect curve. To make this easier on us, I'll go ahead and collapse the start connect curve. And we'll need to go ahead and navigate to the rotate Y channel. With that selected, we can now choose OK, and notice it has been assigned. Let's do the same thing for our start twist. So we'll go ahead and collapse the end twist control and expand the start twist control, and we'll find its y-axis and choose OK. Alright, so now it's time to create the expression. That's going to be start underscore twist plus end underscore twist divided by 2. Now, very important, we want to make sure to concatenate the start and end twist, meaning we want them both in parentheses. That way, Max will evaluate this expression correctly. We want the result of the start plus the end twist, and then we want to divide that by 2. If we do not concatenate this first part of our code, Max might go ahead and divide the end twist by 2, and the start twist might not work as expected. Alright, so we can go in and evaluate the code. Notice everything works fine. If this is not the case for you, it might be a syntax error, so just go ahead and check your spelling. You could also debug the code to find out things like the values of your variables. This will come in handy when it's time to check our squash and stretch rig, just to make sure that everything scales properly. And we'll worry about that when it's time. But for right now, we're good to go. Let's close this out. We've already evaluated the code, so we can now close out of the expression editor and take a look. Watch what happens when we start to rotate in our y-axis using our connect curve. You can see that the mid-twist rotates, but not as much. We're getting an average. Same thing goes for the end twist when we start to move that. And take a look, we can continue to twist this around, and it will work. How exciting is that? All right, so let's go ahead and select the two connect curves. We'll alt-right-click and choose Transform to 0. All right, now it's time to take care of the last two groups, and this is going to be done the same way. Only this time we want to average between either the start and mid or the end and mid. Let's go ahead and start with the first section here, averaging between the start and mid. So we'll grab group B and we'll assign to its rotate Y track, another float expression. Let's create our variables. That's going to be start underscore twist. Great. And now we'll create a mid-twist channel. Let's go ahead and choose create. Since the mid-twist is selected, let's go ahead and choose assign to controller, and let's go ahead and find it. So we'll need to find our anchor object, anchor C. Let's expand the outside to get to the flexi group. We'll go ahead and expand the inside to get to its transform, rotation, zero Euler, Y track. All right, and you can see by looking closely that it has a connection. Take a look at the icons on X and Z, and then take a look at the Y track. You can see it's slightly dimmed, just letting us know there's a connection there. All right, so with the Y-axis selected, we can choose OK. Notice it has been assigned. So our start twist, let's select that and choose assign controller. We'll go ahead and find the start Y-axis and choose OK. All right, so the expression is the same. That's going to be open and close parentheses, and we'll divide this by 2, and we're done. No, not quite. Within the parentheses, we'll go ahead and type in start underscore twist plus mid underscore twist. All right, so now we can go ahead and evaluate the code and test this out. Watch, when we grab our start curve and start to move this, now we have this average twist. Grab the end. Since the mid twist is affected by the end, it's also going to affect group B the right way. Beautiful. How exciting is that? All right, let's go ahead and finish up. Let's go ahead and grab group D, and we'll assign to its rotate Y track another float expression. So just about done. Let's go ahead and create a variable for the end twist, and then one for our mid twist. Now what's great is that once we have already assigned our variable, Max actually remembers the directory that we have used to access the controllers that we assign to each variable. So if I were to go ahead and create this mid twist and choose assign to controller, notice instantly we can go ahead and find the mid twist channel. I really enjoy that. Helps speed up the time it takes to assign our variables and create the expression. Let's go ahead and find the end twist next. So we'll go ahead and search for it. There it is. There is its y-axis. Let's go ahead and choose OK. And we'll go ahead and finish up by creating the expression. So I'll add the open and close parentheses, divide that by 2, and within will be end underscore twist, and we'll add the mid twist. All right, let's say we go ahead and choose evaluate and test everything out. So watch, when we grab the end control, we get this really nice twist distribution that always works. How exciting. Same thing goes for our start twist. We can go ahead and continue to twist that around, and then if we wanted to get fancy, we can go ahead and grab the mid-bend control and start to move that around, and everything's going to work properly. This is really exciting how this is all coming together. I'll go ahead and use transform to 0 to bring the bend control back and do the same thing for the connect curves. All right, so now it's time for a little bit of cleanup work. We know that for our connect curves, the only axis we need to worry about is our twist axis, the Y. So we can go ahead and lock down the X as well as the Z. Let's do the same thing for the end control. So starting with this start curve, we'll head over to our hierarchy panel. We'll go to link info, and let's go ahead and lock rotation X and Z. We could also lock down scaling. We won't be scaling these objects. For the end control, it's the same way. It's going to be X and Z, and we'll lock down scaling. Now for the mid-bend control, with that selected, not the group, but the actual control, we're going to lock down rotation and scaling. We don't want to rotate this object at all because rotation will do nothing for us. Great. All right, so everything is looking fantastic. We can go in and start to take a look at our rig, how it's coming together. Really cool. We can go ahead and resize this if we'd like. We could also go in and add some really cool twisting. Very fun. Now, as we start to build this rig, we want to test it out from time to time just to make sure everything's working correctly. So feel free to do that. You can add a piece of geometry in here and skin to that, or maybe add a few cubes and parent to these twist objects just to make sure everything's working correctly. As we go through this course, we'll also spend time doing a progress check just to make sure that everything is intact. So that will just help to make sure that the rig is robust and is working the way it should. But that's going to finish this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll start to work on our squash and stretch control.